Hey everybody, this is Dr. Rick dropping in on you. Monday morning, leaving the gym. Decided I would do a bonus. I know today is Monday, and we're gonna get to that. But I just wanted to talk to you real briefly. I'm riding. Gotta stop before I get in, sit down and get to work. So look, hey. I've heard so many people say 2023 is my year. 2023 is going to be my year. Matter of fact, I hear it every year around this time for that particular year. And for each person, that means something different. And it isn't anybody's responsibility or business to tell you what it should mean to you, but it should mean something along the line of growth, advancement, elevation, touching something you haven't touched before, living something in a way you've never lived it before, something that you can sit up and look back on when you go into the following year and say, I did that. And there are some ways to get there. There are some distinct things that have to take place when you get there. I want to talk to you about 3 things that has to change. Now, number one is you've heard me talking about 2023 back in August, and everybody's going like, dude, it's like 4 whole months left in this year, and whatever's left in August, and it's 4.5 months left, and you're talking about 2023. And that's one of the first things that people need to understand is when you're talking about doing something, you can't wait till you get there to do it. You've got to be prepared. You've got to set a course of action. You've got to develop something in the way of clarity of what it is you want to do. You got to determine, am I even heading in that direction? Because the last thing you want to try to have to do is shift. It's January 1st, so I've been going the wrong way. So now I'm going to turn around in mid-flight and change directions and do it all differently now. No. You need to know where you're headed. You need to get an idea of what needs to be done. You need to have all that stuff worked out. You should be doing that first. But the first thing you're going to have to change, if you want to do something different than you've been doing, if you want this to be your year, you got to change your thinking. You're going to have to change your approach to how you manage your thought processes. And that comes in so many different ways. First and foremost, you've got to have a thought process that promotes the change, a thought process that's available for change, a thought process that isn't dogmatic about anything that you're going to encounter that may need to be adjusted. Holding on to beliefs simply because they've always been the belief is a good way to keep you stagnant and stuck. You need to be willing to sit up and say, well, maybe I have been doing that wrong. Maybe I have been approaching that wrong. Maybe I didn't look at it the right way. Maybe I didn't know. And you need to be able to say, well, from this point on, this is what we're going to do. And I'm going to be consistent, be committed to consistently doing it until it becomes automatic, until it becomes habitual, a habit. And that's the thing. You've got to adjust how you think about business, how you think about money, how you think about relationships, how you think about anything that you want to grow in and improve at. You got to be willing to look at how you think about it, but you also need to be willing to look at how you think about what's possible. So many people are locked in the boxes because they believe they can't get out. So many people will not get out. The mind is so powerful that if you tell it can't do something, it will literally look for the confirmations that it can. But if you tell it that it can, it will look for the confirmations and the supporting evidence that it can. It will ultimately do what you tell it should be doing. And so how you choose to manage that is absolutely up to you. You've got to be able to be uncomfortable. What do I mean by that? This is number 2. You've got to be willing to be uncomfortable. Anything that you haven't done before, when you start to do it, you're going to be uncomfortable. You're probably not going to be that good at it. It's not going to seem. Whenever I'm engaging people and I say, okay, have you tried this? Or I tell them, hey, try this and let me know if it works. And the answer is always, well, yeah, I tried but it just didn't feel right. You know what they're saying? It didn't feel comfortable. It took them out of their element, and it took them to a place that was awkward. It took them to a place that was uncomfortable. It took them to a place where they didn't just automatically flow in. They had to actually put some energy, some effort in, and it was awkward because they have become used to just moving in an automated, predetermined mode, method, and form, and they haven't given it any real true consideration what they should be doing and how they should be doing it, and stepping out of what is average, what is normal, and doing something beyond that. And so that's the thing. You're going to have to be willing. You cannot achieve greatness in your corner of comfort. Comfort zones are not meant for growth. They're a good place to hide and pretend life isn't happening and that there isn't any demand to do anything better, but they don't produce anything. You are going to have to come out of your comfort zone. Next, you're going to have to be committed. Well, you have to be committed. I tell people all the time, and when they talk about, you know, the different things I've been able to do, whether it's writing books, whether it's scholarship, whether it's starting businesses, money, whatever it is that I've been able to do over the course of my life, that people look at and say, okay, that's pretty remarkable. It's always, well, you had this or you had that. And I have to remind people, nobody starts with that, except the people who are born into wealth start with money. But if they don't learn the principles of wealth, if they don't learn and understand money, which they normally do because they're brought up around the whole environment and they're taught and they hear it every day. But, you know, there are those who didn't get it and they've lost it. It can happen. You have to develop into what you're going to be, and some start in different places, and that's life. But you can't be so anchored by where you started that you don't aim for something different. Stop being locked into your past. Stop consulting your starting point to determine your destination. You are going to have to be committed. But when people are telling me, hey, well, you did this, no, let me tell you something. I've gotten knocked down more than I care to count or talk about. I've been pushed back more than I care to talk about. I talk about it when the time is right, and I share, because people need to understand this wasn't a smooth journey. I didn't just run out there, but what I did is I experienced successes in ways that the average person will not. I have been able to do things in my life that even as a kid in my wildest dreams didn't think would happen. And it has come with challenges. It has come with moments of darkness. It has come with loss. It has come with all of the hurdles, the setbacks, the obstacles that every person faces. Here's the one thing. I was committed to a level of being relentless. I made up in my mind at the moment that I was going to decide I was going to do anything, that I was going to do it, and that I was going to see it through no matter what it took. And when you say that, you've got to be careful, because when you say I'm going to do what it takes and that I am going to finish, you're going to face adversity. You're going to face difficulty. You're going to face trouble before triumph. It's the way things work. But what I can tell you is the trouble is a test and a preparation for the triumph. Sometimes you experience premature triumph. You go out there and you go hard, and what happens is you're not prepared to experience it. And it can be actually to your detriment. And so what trouble does is trouble puts you in a situation, it matures you, it grows you. It develops your strength and resilience and all of those things you need. And you have to be willing to push through those things, because that's where you grow. You grow in discomfort in the gym. You grow in discomfort at the track. You grow in challenge in studying in school. While everybody's out partying and having fun, you're in the library studying, reading, researching, learning. And it is absolutely imperative to understand that. People, how have you written 25 books? My question is, why haven't I written more? But, and I can come up with a bunch of reasons why I haven't written more. I didn't start until I was in my 30s. I wrote a lot of stuff, but I hadn't written a book. I had always said I was going to write a book. But even at that moment, when I was saying I was going to write a book, which was going to be a follow-up to an article I wrote as a teenager that got published nationally, entitled The Invisible Father. I said I was going to write the book because the article didn't do it justice, absentee fatherhood. And so I had always said it. But at the time that I'm saying this, I'm going to go write this book and I'm going to be done. And what happened is I wrote the book and realized I had tons of books in me, that was going to be a part of my process of leaving my legacy, helping people change their lives, helping people heal, helping people grow. And so you look up and I'm 25 full-length books. I can't tell you how many short pieces, which are books, but just not 200 pages, and thousands of articles, literally, that are published. And I've written as a ghostwriter for so many others. It became a means of doing some things to push my vision and things through. Look, let me tell you this. Whatever it is you're trying to do, you've got to grow into it. You've got to become it. You don't get what you want in this world. You get what you are, who you are, what you're capable of becoming. And so that's what you've got to look at. What do I want? What do I need to be to have it? How close am I to that? What's the first step? And you move those things. This is what I do. This is what I do for my clients is we look at where you want, what you want. We also look at why you want it. Why do you want this? Why, especially when it's money, because the truth is, it isn't the money you want. It's what the money will do. And so what is it that you want that the money will do for you? Because we need to understand the connectivity to that. We also need to be connected to that, because sometimes you can get some of that stuff done without the money. And so it doesn't mean that you don't go get the money. It just means that some of that stuff you can get done before you have it. But anyway, we move through that. Look, I want to work with 5 people. I want 5 people. Start out with 10. I want 5 people who are ready to change their lives. I want to work with you. Now, this could be anywhere from 12 weeks to a year. The link to find out what you need to do to work with me is in the description box. 5 people who are seriously committed to doing something different in 2023. In other words, 2023 isn't going to be a year because you said it is. 2023 will be your year because you make it your year. So what are you going to be doing to make 2023 your year? If you're serious about changing and doing something far beyond what you've ever done, I want to work with you. I'm taking the first 5 people. Click the link in the description box. Let's sit down. Let's talk. You'll see the offer there. I'm not going to go into it and explain it. It's an unbelievable opportunity to work with me. It's going to go through the remainder of the day until 5 people sign up, and then I'm taking it down. And probably I'm going to step back for a minute, but I want these 5 people because I'm not working with as many people one-on-one this year, but the ones I work with, we're going somewhere. On that note, I'm about to get out of here. If you're serious about change, 100% sure and serious, and you're ready to go, and yes, it does cost. Jim Rohn once said, the winners in this world invest in themselves and in their education, in the development of knowledge. I cannot tell you how much I've put off into myself to get to where I am, and I'm constantly doing it. And the other flip side of that, just a little side note, I've written 23 books. I read 100 books, 100 plus books a year. No, I try to read on the pace of 2 books a week. And the crazy thing is, there's so many books out there that I'm going. So that's a you got to prepare to win in life. That's all I can tell you. Let me help you. On that note, I'm about to get out of here. I got to make a real quick one and then jump back. And I got a 9 o'clock. This is my first week back in 2 weeks actually working with clients. So I got to get there. I got a 9 o'clock. All right, I'm out.